Hello and welcome to Quays News. I'm Chanel French.
And I'm Katie Hancock. Here's what's coming up on the programme today.
After the closure of Salford's only maternity ward, families in Salford question what that will mean for them.
Benny Fiddimore caught up with Media City's half-marathon runners.
A man has been charged with murder following a stabbing in Wythenshawe. Maisie will be here with the story.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments on immigration have caused controversy. Tyler Wagstaff will be here to tell us more.
This is your Thursday Quays News. For the first time in decades, no babies are being born in Salford. This follows the decision to close Salford's only maternity ward and move it out of the city.
But what does that mean for the families and the future of Salford's hospitals? Our reporter, Charlotte Curry, has been finding out.
Salford Royal Hospital was once home to a busy maternity ward, delivering thousands of babies every year. But since the maternity services were centralised to neighbouring hospitals, the birth rates here have dropped to zero, a change that's sparking concern across the community.
The main maternity ward at Salford Royal closed in 2017. The maternity services were consolidated as part of a 2011 region-wide reconfiguration to centralise care. The closure was due to ongoing severe staff shortages.
So my daughter was born at, we call it Hope Hospital, but at Salford Royal it was known as Hope Hospital then, in 1991. And I'll talk a little bit about what that experience was like then, but she was born there in 1991 and I specifically chose that hospital.
As of early 2026, the facility remains closed to births. Health officials say the changes allow for better access to emergency care if complications arise. But for many residents, it comes at a cost.
Devastated, absolutely devastated, for the sheer reason that I think people are missing out on the opportunity that there was something special about giving birth there, and I think other women might share similar stories.
Travel time is one of the biggest concerns for expectant mothers in Salford, who are now being directed to neighbouring hospitals.
When you live in Salford and your GP appointments are in Salford, but then you're not giving birth in Salford.
While no babies are currently being born in Salford, the debate around maternity services are far from over. With the city's population continuing to rise, many are asking whether childbirth will one day return. Charlotte Curry, Quays News.
Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has apologised after recent comments about UK immigration caused controversy.
The 73-year-old described the UK as being colonised by immigrants. Our reporter Tyler Wagstaff joins us live to tell us more. What's the latest, Tyler?
In an interview with Sky News' Ed Conway, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the minority shareholder for Manchester United, says that Britain faces profound political, social and economic challenges. He also says that the UK has been colonised by immigrants and proved this by saying the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020, now it's 70 million. That's 12 more million more people. The Office of National Statistics, however, estimates that the population of the UK was 67 million in mid-2020 and 70 million in mid-2024. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has responded to these remarks, saying that they were offensive and wrong. Also, the Prime Minister then added, Britain is a proud, tolerant and diverse country, and that Sir Jim Ratcliffe should apologise. Mayor of Manchester Andy Burnham has also criticised Sir Jim Ratcliffe, saying that these comments go against everything for which Manchester has traditionally stood against. It is inaccurate, insulting, inflammatory and should be withdrawn, the Mayor of Manchester also added. Today, however, Sir Jim Ratcliffe did apologise for these comments after releasing a statement saying that he is sorry that my choice of language has offended some people. However, he has still reiterated his point to raise the issue of controlled and well-managed immigration that supports economic growth. After the interview yesterday, the Manchester United Muslim Supporters Club released a statement saying that they are deeply concerned by recent remarks and that positive references to political figures whose rhetoric on immigration and minority communities has long been divisive. These comments come after quite a criticised time with Sir Jim Ratcliffe as Ineos owner and as minority stakeholder of Manchester United since buying a percentage of the club from the Glazers. You know, he was harshly criticised on the appointing of Ruben Amorim. He was also harshly criticised for not sacking Erik ten Hag after winning the FA Cup 2 seasons ago. We did approach loads of people for comment. We approached Manchester United for comment. We approached Kick It Out for comment. However, none of them got back to us. But the point still stands that some people are very disappointed in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments today, that he said in an interview last night.
Thanks for that update, Tyler. Now, the Media City Half Marathon returns for a second year this Sunday, and this year the race is partnered with a local charity. Our reporter Benny Fidamore finds out more.
This Sunday, around 1,200 people will be racing around Salford Quays and the surrounding areas as the Media City Half Marathon returns for a second year. This year, race organisers Run Through have teamed up with local charity Mind in Salford. They have 17 people running for them, raising funds to help them continue to deliver local mental health services. But what services do they actually provide?
So we have an advocacy service where we work in the community and also within the mental health hospitals across Greater Manchester, where we're supporting service users and giving them a voice as well, making sure their rights are protected. We also have peer support workers working in the community, again working alongside people that are kind of in between the gaps within mental health services between GP and the mental health services and hospitals.
The charity also hopes to promote running and other forms of physical exercise by partnering with the event.
Any kind of physical movement, moving your body in any way is so important for releasing, you know, those happy endorphins, just to really kind of raise your mood as well and your well-being, being outside, green spaces, whatever it is.
Mind in Salford have a designated cheer zone on Trafford Park Road, where family and friends can support and encourage runners. In addition to Mind in Salford employees, the cheer zone will also be staffed by passionate volunteers.
I think it's important to support such a good cause because obviously it promotes better mental health. And as someone who struggled with things like that before, it's good to show that help is always there when you need it.
So the route will start just behind the Media City tram stop on the piazza. It'll loop through the streets of Salford and Eccles before following through the paths of the Salford Quays before finishing back here in the centre of Media City. Runners will do 2 laps to complete the 21.1 kilometre course. Motorists should note that there will be disruption to the roads as a result of the event. Roads including Broadway, Coronet Way, Bencliffe Way and Trafford Wharf Road will be closed throughout the morning, although all roads will reopen by 12 p.m. The race has now sold out. Betty Fidamore for Quays News, Media City.
As the Gorton and Denton by-election grows closer, the race to win the seat has heated up. Despite the recent Labour controversies, they are still one of the favourites to win the seat, alongside the Green Party and Reform UK.
But do the residents feel represented by these candidates? Our reporter Ben Hadley went to Gorton and Denton to find out.
Gorton is one of the most deprived areas in the whole of Greater Manchester, with many people living in homelessness and facing widespread poverty. The area was previously run by independent Andrew Gwynn, but after his suspension in February 2025 from the Labour Party, he was running as an independent. With just 2 weeks to go until polling day, the by-election in Gorton and Denton is coming under increasing scrutiny. As Labour looks to hold a seat that it had long considered safe, questions are being raised about whether residents feel their concerns are being put first, and whether each party's candidate is someone who will put the area above their own political ambitions. This once Labour stronghold is now seeing the growing support for the Green Party and Reform UK, following a string of controversies facing the Labour Party, the most damaging of these being the recent suspension of Peter Mandelson. But as many people here say they felt overlooked in the past, that frustration could prove decisive in who Gorton and Denton choose to represent them.
Well, I mean, what's going on and the lies they tell you, and I mean, most MPs have been proven liars. I mean, so where does that leave us? We just know that they're all liars. The best, we had Gerald Kaufman, who was a Labour man that was at Gorton. Unfortunately, he died quite a few years back. But he was one man that did things. We need someone like Gerald Kaufman. I don't really feel comfy with any of them, really, because they don't seem to do anything. And this has been, I've been living here 2 years, and they just throw the rubbish bags all at the back there where in the summer it's all bushes. Obviously now it's just twigs. But yeah, they don't, none of them help themselves as far as I'm concerned. To me, or from what I've seen, I don't think it really matters that much, because they've all of them have let us down, whoever and all that. And like I say, the only guy that was ever good for Gorton was Sir Gerald Kaufman.
Labour's local Mancunian candidate Angelica Stoyer has tried to quell the backlash, saying nobody has mentioned the controversy around Mandelson when doorstepping, rather saying that the most important issues to the locals are the cost of living, investment in the community, the NHS and fly tipping. But has this message resonated with the locals?
Yeah, I preferred Bev Craig or Julie Reid personally, yeah. Well, they're local and they know the area very well. You know, Bev Craig's led the regeneration around here, so she knows the area very well, knows the people, so yeah. Oh, it's going to be so tight, I think. Unfortunately, I think Reform might win this seat now. Even though Goodwin's not known around here, I think they still might win it just because there's so much dissatisfaction with, you know, the Labour government nationally. I think people are quite happy with, you know, the local councillors and everything, and with Andy Burnham, but there's a great deal of dissatisfaction with Starmer and with Rachel Reeves. So yeah, I think, you know, potential for probably Reform, potentially maybe even the Greens. I think it'll be a negative if either of them win. I prefer Labour. I'll still probably vote Labour, so no matter who the candidate is.
On your screen is a list of all the candidates standing in the Gorton and Denton by-election.
A 19-year-old man has been charged with murder following a stabbing in Wythenshawe. Our reporter Maisie reports from the scene.
Here in Wythenshawe on Southwick Road, police investigation continues after a stabbing took place right here last Thursday.
We know that the man who was killed was in his 20s but has not yet been named by police. Unfortunately, when paramedics did arrive at the scene, he was pronounced dead, despite their best efforts. And a man has been charged, and we know him to be 19-year-old Lewis Morley. He was due to appear at Manchester and Salford Magistrates Courts on Saturday. Greater Manchester Police have also said that Lewis Morley and the victim were known to each other and that there is no longer any threat to the community. The police are urging the public to come forward with any CCTV or footage to further help their investigation.
Both. How are you looking to spend your Valentine's Day? A candlelit meal, an evening out in town? Well, for 5,000 Salford fans, it'll be spent at the Etihad Stadium as Salford City take on Manchester City in the FA Cup. Our reporter Bix Williams has more.
It's been just over a year since Salford City got their dream draw in the Cup, an away day to the blue side of Manchester.
Manchester City will be playing Salford City.
But it wasn't a fairy tale afternoon at the Etihad. The seven-time Cup winners made light work of Carl Robinson's side, dispatching 8 goals past them on home soil to kick the Ammies out of the competition. But this time, could it be different? Salford enter the 4th round of the FA Cup for the first time in club history, beating Lincoln City, Swindon Town and Leyton Orient. The man who knows all about this competition is winger Kelly Mai.
It's in! And I think it's Kelly and Mai.
The Dutchman has been in fine form, scoring both in league and cup action, and looks forward to the challenge ahead.
I mean, we have a lot of respect for them, City, but we back our own ability as well. We can always hopefully nick a goal or anything, but the lads are excited.
One of the main concerns is the effect on morale this result could have if a similar result to last year were to occur. Salford were in fine form before their meeting with Pep Guardiola's side, winning 8 out of 9 games in the lead-up. But the thrashing turned the table on the Ammies season as Salford took a nosedive in form, which ultimately saw them miss out on the playoffs, drawing 2-2 with an already relegated Carlisle United on the final day of the season. With Salford on a similar run of form, manager Carl Robinson was adamant the same effect wouldn't happen again.
I think this year, it's more of a case of we have other things to worry about. I think we've got a different mindset. I think we were lame because of the consequences of last year. And we go in there with a very clean method of what we want to do and how we're going to exit the ground to how we're going to put our foot back.
Robinson has been in charge of Salford for just over 2 years now. The former Oxford and MK Dons boss knows all about the Cup and how much it means to the people of Salford.
It's a new era, but with the same sort of backing and support that we've always had, and that is important that we have that from the fans consistently, that we do sit separate to City and United. We are over here, but we are our own identity, and that's important to us.
It's clear to see the big draw buzz is still alive and well, with Salford expected to bring over 5,200 supporters into Manchester on Saturday. Both sides meet at 3 p.m. on Valentine's Day, but this time Salford will be hoping to do some of the heartbreaking. Bix Williams, Quays News.
Thank you for joining us today in the studio, Bick. So how are Salford City getting on this season?
Well, it's been ideal. I've reported on Salford City for the past 3 years, and it's just like an upwards trajectory. They keep getting better. Of course, last season they just missed out on the playoffs, but this is the strongest team I've seen, and I think they will do quite well. I think there's so many players who have that ability to, you know, produce a moment of magic of nowhere. And I mean, their last loss was to Accrington, bit annoying, but I think you guys know a windy game in Accrington is never nice. But they're on good form, and the away form might not be the best, but I like to think they'll do well.
And do you think they have a chance at beating Man City this weekend?
Well, what we know about Guardiola is he will never take the FA Cup for granted. He'll always go very strong with his sides. And I mean, I'd love to see a few of the City Academy players like Ryan McAdoo or Kean Noble in the team, but I think they will go strong. But you never know. If Salford nick a goal early, it could be a different story.
Well, we can only hope that this weekend goes well for them, can't we?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been a chilly week here in Salford.
But how's the rest of the week looking, Freddie?
So yes, I am here with the weather, and I'm stood outside the glorious Imperial War Museum, and it's getting a bit cold. It's a bit nippy, it's a bit chilly, but expect that because it's going to be a cold night. Frost might not be expected, but best believe there might be some snow in the early hours of tomorrow morning. However, it will be raining non-stop from about now as the heavens begin to open until about 5 p.m. tomorrow. So it's going to be wet, wet, wet. Rain, rain, go away. No, it is here to stay, and it will be here for the remainder of the week.
Thank you for that, Freddie. Thank you all so much for tuning in. That's all we have time for today.
Join us next week for more Quays news. Goodbye.